Shalom Alekim, peace be on you. Yisra Ya'el, Yehonathan we with you here once again, humbly so, on what this is going to be released on the 7th of January 2024 of the year of their Lord. Installment number 57 of the Bimil Latah Shali series, in his own words, most critical series. This is number 57, and we are still on Tuesday of the last week of Hamashiach's, they call it the Passion Week. We're on still on day Tuesday. Today's topic: whose son is the Messiah? Whose son is the Messiah? So once again, why am I doing this series? And I just want to keep reminding us, Galatians 3:18-20, Shaul says that the law was added because of sin. Because this whole thing is, Yahweh Shua is the living Torah, and the scribes and Pharisees, the Sadducees, the elders, no one's seeing it. Even the Hebrews are not seeing it. This is the walking law. He is here. Whose son is the Messiah? Hebrews 9:15 says that Yahweh Shua is the mediator of this new covenant. He is trying to show them a new way. The way that's always been planned. Jeremiah 31:31-37, Yahweh says this is in the old covenant, that Yahweh's going to give us a new covenant, not like the one he gave to our fathers. This is going to be a new one written in our hearts. How can we today, on January the 7th, 2024, the year of their Lord, still not get it? Because it's this very law that everyone's waking up to. All the Hebrews are waking up to, the very one that's going to be used to deceive the whole world. Because they're waking up and they're going to try to go back to, forgot my music there, try to go back to what our forefathers did in their 40 years of the desert of disobedience. So this series is trying to wake us up so the great deception will not happen to you who are just awakening. Remember, this temple is already built. They've already got the ready heifer, and they already got priests in place. Yahweh says he's going to give them over to a grand delusion. So if we love Yahweh Shua, if we love him, we cannot be deceived. So last week, talked about Koshi, taxes. Yahweh Shua says they want taxes from us. They want Koshi from us because we're strangers. Give honor to whoever's on that image. Give it to him. He wants it to be his, and his face is on it. It's his image. It's not my image. You make sure you render to me what was due to me. And what you owe me is love, because I first loved you. And we are indeed strangers. We are sojourners on this earth. We're not the sons of this world. And the trials and tribulations and persecutions and the fire that's going to come down on this earth, it's going to be for those who live on the earth. Not you and me, because we don't have a stake on this earth. Though we're breathing on here, we are not of this earth. See, the whole thing about the mark of the beast in the latter days is all about buying and selling, which means being able to continue in the routines of life. The routines of going to work and keeping the holidays and eating and drinking and celebrating. You'll be able to continue to do that because you're going to go along with what this man says, and going to have to pay homage to his image. But we are sojourners. Obey his laws for our good, as long as they don't go against Yahweh. See, Yahweh was challenged twice on this taxes thing. The first time in Matthew 17:24-27, they went through Peter. They didn't go directly to him. Yahshua said, hey, go to fish and go give it to him. Then the second time, Matthew 22:15-22, is when they came directly to him. He answered them so wisely they could not respond. After that point on, again, this is on Tuesday, they didn't try to go ahead and catch him and tangle him in his words. They just went on with their plot to kill Yahweh, the Torah. And they want to try to enforce tax laws, kosher laws. It is, according to the old law, go to Exodus 30, 13 to 16. Yes, those are the laws of taxation. But why didn't our temple leaders follow the Jubilee law? Leviticus 25, 8 to 17. What about the law of Jubilee? See, because of their mishandling and misteaching and misappropriating of the law, these Edomite leaders that was set up by Rome and that our Hebrew forefathers paid homage to, because of this improper dispensing of the law, Jerusalem was impoverished. It was the most impoverished of all the areas, yet they're the ones with the temple. And the temple was the richest spot they had. It's like the Super Bowl 3 times a year. During the 3 appointed times of the year, the whole world converged on the temple and brought in millions. Yet the people were poor. So poor that Shaul, as he went about in his ministry, collecting monies. Why? Because the so-called lost tribes, all the peoples outside of Jerusalem, they had money. They were doing well. The Goyim, who were just getting the word now, since our forefathers rejected, now the Goyim getting the word, they had money. And then Shaul was asking them for money to give to the Yahudim in Jerusalem. Here they are poor, under the shadow of the temple. Well, that shouldn't be. Is that how it was under King Solomon? Is that how it was? If the Torah is kept properly, everyone is in wealth and health. Yet that is the opposite of what we saw during the time of Yahweh and the disciples on the earth. We saw poverty and sickness. So obviously, there is something wrong with this dispensation of the law. There's something wrong. They did a lot of wrong in handling and dishing out this. We're going to get to whose son is the Messiah. I want to linger a little bit more on this, because our temple leaders who said that access to Yahweh was through the temple was wrong at every hand in their dispensing the law of Moses. In Mark 12, 18 to 27, he had to teach them the right reading of marriage and resurrection. The way they saw marriage, or how you can write the wife a divorce for light reasons. What they thought about resurrection, they were all wrong. How they honor the parents, they had the law of Korban. So they weren't honoring the marriage, they weren't honoring the family, they weren't honoring their parents. Even the Sabbath. How many times did they have debates with him about what he did on Shabbat, which they twisted it wrong? Matter of fact, even today, our New Brews and Hebrews, even now today, our Hebrew leaders are misteaching this law about the Shabbat. Talking about this man who collected sticks, he got stoned under law that was not had anything to do with Shabbat. Matter of fact, let me just go there. I know we're going to get to whose son is this Messiah. Numbers 15, 30 to 36. This is about this law of this stoning, right? Now I'm going to read. I'm going to start on 32. Numbers 15, 32. Now, while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man gathering sticks on Shabbat. And those who found him gathering sticks brought him to Moshe and Aaron and to all the congregation, and they put him under guard, because it had not been explained what should be done to him. Then Yahweh said to Moshe, the man must surely be put to death. All the congregation will stone him with stones outside the camp. So as Yahweh commanded Moshe, all the congregation brought him outside the camp and stoned him with stones, and he died. Now, everyone has been taught that this has something to do with Shabbat. This was because he violated Shabbat. And it does not say he was stoned for violating Shabbat. And he was not. Look at the whole thing. Look at that. If that's the meat of the debate, look at the bread before and after. The 2 verses before that, Numbers 15 verses 30 to 32, I will read. This is the law concerning presumptuous sin. But the person who does anything presumptuously whether he is native born or a stranger, that one brings reproach on Yahweh. He will be cut off from among his people because he has despised the word of Yahweh and has broken his commandment. That person will be completely cut off and his guilt will be on him. That is what that man, and because then right after that, we get the example of what this man did on Shabbat, gathering sticks, doing it presumptuously, in defiance. As a matter of fact, after this, then the narrative picks back up and Yahweh talks about the law of tassels on the garments, your seats. See? And right after that, we get the rebellion of Moses and Aaron. What we're not understanding is that all these laws in the desert of disobedience were being picked up like briars on your pants leg as you go through the woods. We do a sin, another law comes up. We do a sin, another law comes up. All we have here is the laws of Moshe being piled up on us in our disobedience, not catching the spiritual meaning of it. And Yahweh is here teaching the spiritual meaning of things. So it has nothing to do with Shabbat, why that man got stoned. He got stoned for presumptuously sinning against Yahweh, putting a middle finger against the Most High. So now we're going to move on to today's topic. Whose son is the Messiah? For this reason, Yahweh for Hebrews and Christians is being attacked mightily. I'm being attacked mightily, my few followers, and I pray sincerely for you, and I pray that you sincerely pray for me to continue on, because indeed the ark is hurting. I'm hurting as I bring this to you, and I am in spiritual warfare big time. I'm openly pleading for your prayers, and even if you can fast, be there for me as we continue, because this ministry is unlike any other, and it is the only one that's teaching the unleavened word of Yahweh HaMashiach. And it's important right now because the great deception is coming upon the entire world. We're in the shadow of it right now. Unless we know the true Torah, Yahweh HaMashiach, and the love of him, that soul is ripe for deception. Matthew 22, 41 to 46. This shouldn't be long today. Matthew 22. 41 to 46. While the Pharisees were gathered together, Yahweh asked them, saying, "What do you think about the Messiah? Whose son is he?" And he said to him, "The son of Dawid." He said to them, "How then does Dawid in Ruach call him master, saying, Yahweh said to my master, sit at my right hand till I make your enemies your footstool? If Dawid then calls him master, how is he his son?" And no one was able to answer him a word. Nor from that day on did anyone dare question him anymore. They said, you know what, we're just going to have to kill him. Because he pricked them. Because they were looking at the answer to Psalm 110:1. They were looking at it. And they could not see it. He was right there saying, listen, I am the anointed one that Dawid talked about, prophesied about. Here he is right here. Here he is right here. And they walked away. Why? Because the heart knower knew their hearts, the latent pride in their hearts. So we go on and pick up the narrative in chapter 23, verses 1 through 12. So now Yahweh he was speaking to them. Now he turned his gaze towards the people, and it says, "The scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moshe's seat. Therefore, whatever they tell you to observe, that observe and do. But do not do according to their works, because they say and do not do. They are blind. They bind heavy burdens, hard to bear, and lay them on men's shoulders. But they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. But all their works they do to be seen by men. They make their phylacteries broad and enlarge the borders of their garments. They love the best places of the feast and the best seats in the synagogues, greetings in the marketplaces, and to be called by men, Rabbi, Rabbi. But you do not be called Rabbi, because one is your teacher, the Messiah, and you are all brethren. Do not call anyone on earth your father, because one is your father, he who is in Hashemaim. And do not be called teachers, because one is your teacher, Hamashiach. But he who is greatest among you will be your servant. And whoever exalts himself will be humble. And he who humbles himself will be exalted. Go on. But whoa, I'm gonna hold on. So right here, as these Pharisees and these temple leaders who say the only access to Yahweh is through the temple, which they regulated, they on the outside look good, look proper, look prim. But on the inside was dead man's bones, wickedness, and pride. This is why, while looking at the very kingdom himself, looking at the very Torah himself, they could not see. Yet they called themselves Pharisees, they could not see. They could not shema, they could not hear, they could not do because of the wickedness of their hearts. Their pride condemned them. You know, this thing about the law. We know Psalms 19:7 says the law is perfect. There's nothing wrong with the law. It's perfect. It converts the soul. Converts the soul to what? Convert it to what? To Yahushua HaMashiach. That's what it does. It converts it to, let's labor on that. Galatians 3:24-25. Let's give scripture on that. Galatians 3:24-25. Therefore the Torah was our tutor to bring us to HaMashiach, that we might be justified by faith. But after faith has come, we are no longer under a tutor. I read that before. How can it be any clearer? The word law, the Hebrew word is Torah, and Torah means instructions. Okay, Yahushua is walking the earth. He gave us the instructions. He showed us how to keep Shabbat. He showed us how to live, how to love Yahweh all your heart, mind, soul, love your neighbor as yourself. He lived the law. He gave us the example of the Good Samaritan. And we're going to read next week. Oh, wow, we're going to get deep next week. So that being the case, it's like I said, my example was you get a map to Disney World. You take the family to Disney World. Now you're there. You don't need the map. You're already there in Disney World. What are you carrying the map around for, looking at the map when you're already physically in the place, on the rides, having fun, eating cotton candy? Yahushua is here. All of that so-called old covenant directed us to him. Look, in the volume of the book, it all speaks of him. And he's just said that these Pharisees put on the people a yoke that is heavy. Yet in Matthew 11:30, he says his yoke is easy, his burden is light. Which one is heavier? 666 commandments or 2 commandments? I think you want to keep the 2. I think you're better off keeping the 2. So the narrative continues in Matthew 23, verses 13. Hallelujah. We're going to read about these woes. 7 of them. You think it was a coincidence that he's 7 woes? When someone says woe, do you think you need to stop and listen? When he says woe and he's going to say it 7 times, do you think we need to heed when someone says woe? Verses 13-36. But woe to you scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you shut up the kingdom of heaven against men, because you neither go in yourselves, nor do you allow those who are entering to go in. And who is the key? Yahushua is the key. And he's blocking the scribes and Pharisees and these temple rulers are blocking, trying to block the key, which is Yahushua, from the people, so they cannot enter in. He is the key. Verse 14, another woe. Woe to you scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayers. Therefore you will receive greater condemnation. Wow. Justify their wickedness through legalese, through lawyerism. Third, woe to you scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you travel land and sea to win one proselyte. And when he is won, you make him twice as much as a son of hell as yourselves. They go around trying to dictate everywhere what you're supposed to say out of your mouth and how you're supposed to They control everything all over the world. Their tongues wags over the whole earth. They will block you, what you say on this internet. They going to try to, they make you believe what they want the truth to be. They dictate every printed book, every song, every movie, every play, every show, every professional sports player, everything. They proselytize the whole earth to the lie. Fourth woe. What are you blind guys who say whoever swears by the temple, it is nothing, but whoever swears by the gold of the temple, he is obliged to perform it? Fools and blind. Which is greater, the gold or the temple that sanctifies the gold? And whoever swears by the altar, it is nothing, but whoever swears by the gift that is on it, he is obliged to perform it. Fools and blind, for which is greater, the gift or the altar that sanctifies the gift? Therefore, he who swears by the altar swears by it and by all things on it. He who swears by the temple swears by it and by him who lived in it. And he who swears by Hashemaim swears by the throne of Yahweh, by him who sits on it. Wow! Once again, it's all about the Benjamins. It's all about the temple access, so they can control the money and control who they think goes in and who goes out, who is saved and who's not saved. It's all about the mark of the beast and whose image they're going to serve. Fifth woe. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you pay tithes and mint and anise and cumin and neglected the weightier matters of the law, justice and mercy and faith. Wow. So if you don't pay tithes because you don't really have it, and you have justice, mercy, and faith, these are the greater things, the non-tangible things. Tithes is a tangible thing. These you ought to have done without leaving the others undone. Because remember, Yahweh hadn't died yet. In this new system, yes, we give offerings, like Shaul corrected, offerings for the poor. But there was no tithing. There's no such thing as tithing after the resurrection. But we still give offerings for the ministries. You don't muzzle the ox while he's treading the grain. Verse 25. Blind guys who strain out a gnat and swallow at a camel. They want to look at the little minutia in their self-righteousness with all their broad phylacteries. Oh, Yahweh sees the heart. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you cleanse the outside of the cup and dish, but inside they are full of extortion and self-indulgence. Blind Pharisees, first cleanse the inside of the cup and dish, that the outside of them may be cleaned also. We need to take care of our hearts just right now. Where is our heart? Are we going to follow our eyes? Will they see the beautiness of this next temple that has been built, and these beautiful laws that these beautiful men and women are going to put up there? Do not be deceived, Yisrael. Sixth woe. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are like whitewashed tombs, which indeed appear beautiful outwardly, but inside are full of dead man's bones and all uncleanness. Even so, you also outwardly appear righteous to men, but inside you are full of hypocrisy and lawlessness. Wow, he's speaking to who these people really are. The leaders are not the Hebrews. It's our Edomite brothers. Woe. Final woe. If that wasn't enough. To you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, and they hear it. They hear him talking about them. Because you built the tombs of the prophets. Here they are. This is the final woe. And adorn the monuments of the righteous. And say, if we had lived in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets. This is what Yahweh is saying. Therefore, you are witnesses against yourselves, that you are sons of those who murdered the prophets. Fill up then the measure of your father's guilt. Serpents, brood of vipers. There they are. They are serpents. Hasatan is the serpent. And they said they are a brood of the viper. When something is bred, it is genetically modified. These are genetically modified broods of Hasatan. These are Hasatan's sons He's an Edomite. So Yahweh hated from birth. Hated him. And these red, hairy, beastly bastards are the ones who are blindly misteaching Yisrael. How can you escape condemnation of hell? Therefore, indeed, I send you prophets, wise men, and scribes. Some of them you will kill and execute, crucify. Some of them you will scourge in your synagogues and persecute them from city to city. That on you, see, these bruises of the devil, may come all the righteous blood shed on the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah, son of Berechiah, whom you murdered between the temple and the altar. Surely I say to you, all these things will come on this generation. Yahweh Shua said, I'm letting it happen. So when this judgment comes, you're going to get all the full measure. You're not going to leave anything out. The world's going to see what I already know in the heart. How you are wicked to the end. To the end. It's just like Pharaoh. Why let us go after 2 plagues, 3 plagues, 4 plagues, 5 plagues, 6 plagues? We would not have known that he was wicked to the end. Even to the death of his own son, he was wicked to the end. Yahweh already knew that. So he hardened his heart to continue what he wanted to do anyway. So we could see what Yahweh already saw. A heart that was hard to the core. And that's how these demonic seed is. Hard to the core. So Yahweh Shua said, let it ride. Let it ride to fulfill your whole wickedness. Let it ride. Then he went out. Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the one who kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to her. How often I wanted to gather your children together as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, but you were not willing. See, your house is left to you desolate. Because I say to you, you will see me no more till you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of Yahweh. Don't get deceived by this temple they building. Don't get deceived. Because when you will know when Yahweh comes, as the lightning shines from east to the west, you will see him. No one has to tell you anything. And for us who go on before, his appearing will be before us. Blessed is the appearing of the face of Yahweh Shua. For those who go on, blessed is he who becomes like Yahweh Shua HaMashiach, even as he is pure. We take on your image. Blessed be the name of Yahweh. Blessed be the name of Yahweh. Oh Yahweh, who sees the heart. Here's the widow, Luke 21, 1-4. Yahweh Shua sees the heart, and he took them up and saw the rich putting their gifts in the treasury. And he saw also a certain poor widow putting in 2 mites. This is a woman they knew, a poor woman. Truly I say to you, that this poor widow has put in more than all these out of their abundance have put in offerings for Yahweh. But she out of her poverty put in all the livelihood that she had. All Yahweh wants is all you got. All we have is all he wants. I bless you, Yahweh. I bless you, Yahweh, for your son and for this ministry. May it prosper and do well. Bring them back, Yahweh. Next week, Yisrael, the temple will be destroyed. That's the topic. The temple will be destroyed. Shalom Aleichem. Peace be on you. Pray for, brother.